I have not been able. My laptop decided to, since yesterday, it has not come up. I've tried everything. It's not even charging again as it is. So I'm using an office laptop now, which me myself and I'm very very against using an organizational PC for. The organization PC is for the organization. Don't like to use it for even personal things at all. But this class must hold. Um, this is our final session, yeah. So you're welcome, everyone. It has been a ride. The past 2 months, trying to, uh, cover so much. I was just telling Master Hartford of uh, learning AWS developers professional course in a week. Yeah, I think it's almost. I know I mentioned this when we started all of this, that learning the cloud in a month is well, we tried our best, and I want to believe, we have learned one or two things, not even one or two things, three, four, five, six things, thus far. Uh, you guys will be moving on to, I know, again, all of this still seems like milk. Yeah, for those that, probably have small experience before. Now you guys will be moving on to the DevOps module, which is fast-paced. They're Obafemi won't give you guys, won't play around with you guys because there's so much to actually cover. And so you've been moving really, really fast and so much tools to learn, so much concepts. Yeah. Mm. So all of this foundational knowledge is still going to be what you're going to take into the next two modules. And again, I want to strongly believe that you guys have all that you need, to all that you can build on. Yeah. So welcome once again to this final session. I'll try as much as possible not to be emotional. Again, we still have so many platforms that we can still communicate, even though we not have this much time together. But I think we will be organizing um, other sessions, post bootcamp, working on projects and what have you. Yeah. Henry, welcome.
Yes, sir.
Your hands were up. Oh, it's still up, rather.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, like, would you have some time to, for those of us who want to, update our resume with what we've learned so far? Is that something you can help us with? Or
So Lady Anne actually, so after the part of what you get as perks to completing the boot camp is having your CV revamped, you know, with you for you, and also LinkedIn optimization. But that does not come till the end of the boot camp.
training? Okay,
Uh,
okay, sounds good. Okay,
and even interview preparations, just guidelines on how to prepare and also how to. You have perks that comes in, but this does not come till after the end of the training. Yeah. All right. So my final TED talk for this session is everyone will start something, had no clue how to do it at the beginning. Uh, Reading biographies of all of these inventors, you see that most of them didn't. Some that had plans, end up not even uh, using the plan, to actually get their inventions up. Mistakes are part of life, ups and downs, rise and fall, and what have you. So the ability to figure out things, even out of mistake in quotes now. When you're trying to figure out something, trying to reach out for something, and then, it doesn't work out, the ability to turn that error, that mistake around and still have it work, maybe not how, envisioned that thing is always, is a trait that would help everyone in, this life, and especially in this tech space now, because again, this is where we found ourselves, and that's why I keep hammering on troubleshooting, getting your hands dirty when you hit roadblocks. Try to uh, walk and look for ways around it. It doesn't have to be exactly the way the trainer did it during the session. He said there are 10 different ways to solve any challenge. There's no one cap fits all, especially when it comes to code. And then the cloud generally, you have different architectures, different solutions to solving the same problem. If you talk about AI ability, you're talking about scalability. There are different tools that can be used, and this makes it very interesting. Gives you opportunity to play around different methods to achieving that thing. So there's literally nothing somebody will bring to me now, as long as you have conceived it. I say, okay, yes, you want to do this thing. I will tell you, okay, let me take a look at it. I'll not say it's not possible. Let's figure it out. Let me take a look at it. Let's get my hands dirty. Let's give it a shot. Then if I've now tried 5, 6 days and no work, I'll just tell you I'm not able to figure it out, but maybe get somebody else to take a look at it. But yeah. All right. Our agenda for today, I mentioned we rounding off this session, talking about modules. Modules again is basically, you'd see that everything we have been doing is just now we are now putting everything together, putting them in a box, in a directory, in a folder. That's basically what modules are. Kind of just a way of organizing your configurations. And from our last session, you see we broke up our project now into several configuration files. Yeah, and that was like a precursor to learning module. So you see that, okay, instead of having everything inside of one directory, the root directory, we can actually put them inside, subdirectories, have sub programs, um, yeah, programs from that's one program that that's projects now can have multiple projects inside of it. So that's what we'll be looking at today. What are Terraform modules, what modules are used for, and then we'll talk about the two different kinds of modules that is available, local and then remote modules. Local is basically your custom modules. You can actually have modules, create your own modules, which is not very well. It requires that everything that we've been doing, all that we did, creating your different configuration files, and then bringing everything together, making sure you can reuse them, and then reference them from different parts of your workspace now. Yeah, so those are the local ones. And then in Terraform, HashiCorp, they have created remote modules now that you can reuse. All you need to do is pull it. So anytime I talk about remote modules, is I'm sure when we start using it, you guys would be like, why did you now have us go through all of that process of writing our own configuration? Why couldn't we have just taken advantage of, these that HashiCorp has made available, well, like you would usually respond is, it's always good to, learn to walk before you start running or you want to take flight. If you don't understand those constructs, those building blocks, by the time you uh, 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 start automating things, if anything breaks, which would definitely happen, you are thrown into frenzy, and then you don't know what's happening. You can't actually troubleshoot because things are, you don't understand all of the things that have been abstracted away. So would just practice on using remotes. So everything we'll be doing about today is on modules, and then we'll try to deploy a Jenkins server building our own custom modules to deploy a Jenkins server. Jenkins server, again, is not the heart of this project. Is learning to create our own modules. So Jenkins just found its way into that that topic there. So which you guys will still be learning. Jenkins is CI/CD continuous integration, server tool now that you guys will be learning. Yeah, so this would probably will come in handy. Is again maybe a kind of introduction, or just whetting your appetite for what is you guys are going to come across in the DevOps module. Yeah, so this is basically what we'll be doing um, today. Yeah, I would be sorry. All right, guys. Why did this go off now? What I'm using is not. All right, so I have a quick, again, 1, 2, 3 slides just to uh, get the theoretical part of modules out of the way. Modules basically they're like blueprints, uh, of your infrastructure. Blueprints. You're just kind of creating. I think we talked about blueprints when we talked about launch template and what have you. Yeah, so Terraform modules are kind of similar to that. They um, use it to package together reusable configurations for, again, your infrastructure components to make uh, deploying them much easier, and then also to managing the infrastructure. So as you guys have seen, managing infrastructure with Terraform, it can get, complex. Your configuration files can get complex, and um, especially when you have an infrastructure or an architecture rather now that's, is you have so many resources inside of it. You're talking about multiple um, AZs, and then you want to still, you know, make it resilient, have its scalable, to meet the demands of traffic and what have you, and if you put that kind of architecture now with your configuration, you see that it gets really complex. And so even if you decide, okay, yes, you want to use multiple configuration files or even directories, uh, it gets, again, kind of hard updating the configuration files in a single directory. You would encounter one or two problems. You understanding the navigating the configuration files, especially if you now decide you want to put everything inside one configuration file, you have hundreds of lines of code, and then when you want to make any change to that configuration, you find yourself spending more time, to locate different resources, it becomes very, very risky also, because especially if you didn't now follow best practices in using variables and what have you, there are so many consequences to even updating. Yeah. you end up even duplicating blocks of configuration because especially when you now have to we have different environments I have to build for, again, becomes very, very burdensome. So that is what modules, so they are kind of self-contained packages of code configuration now, helps you create reusable components basically by grouping all of those related resources together, you know. It helps you with better organization and even development agility, which are infrastructure. If you have to create for multiple environments, dev, staging, production, QA and what have you, with your modules, you see that you are able to get all of those things up and running in time, and the way you can actually organize these modules, we'll get to all of this in a bit, kind of is, so again, they are basically reusable components packaged together, putting common infrastructure components, together. You can have your networking components together. You can have, um, your database. You can have your compute resources. Just all of those common infrastructure, having them inside of um, your configuration, yeah, separating them so you can reuse them, and then it makes for code consistency. Um, I will see this because if you want to create both custom modules or even use remote modules, you have to adhere to some best practices, which would again makes for whenever any other person wants to read your code, you don't want to be the one to write configuration file that nobody can actually, manage. Yeah, and even if you find yourself having to manage some other configuration, you want whoever has written that configuration to follow or stick to some form of you have consistent way of doing things. So modules actually um, promotes this, and then you can separate concerns. Again, still talking about making breaking down complex systems into manageable and easier to read, configuration. Yeah. And the purpose of module, again, for encapsulation is basically packaging or putting, still talking about bringing components together, for reuse, so that you don't have to repeat yourself, you don't have to uh, do copy and paste in the same block of code inside of multiple files. So you just, encapsulate, bring all of those um, infrastructure components, services, resources together now, and then put them inside, one file, so you can reuse them across multiple environments. And also for abstraction, especially we'll see this um, at play when we talk about remote modules. So much has been abstracted away, uh, helps you, excuse me, uh, so that you don't really need to bother yourself about, all of those details, those, nitty-gritty subnet associations, attaching EIP to NAT gateways, all those things with those things, yeah, been abstracted away when you use modules. Yeah, so it just makes you point, okay, yeah, this is what I want. It further breaks down that uh, uh, feature of Terraform, that declarative nature of Terraform. It makes it much, much easier. And then again, standardization promotes consistent infrastructure practices across projects. So once you have you've picked a standard for how you want your projects to be structured. If you have to, create multiple projects, you can just, follow that consistency, across multiple project modules is how you actually achieve this. And developers actually appreciate this a lot because most of them, they always bootstrap. They have, so for say what's this framework now? Uh, mhm, I skipped my mind. Yeah, so whatever framework developers want to use, they always have bootstrapped kind of like a starter pack where helps them with all of the basic things. All they need to do now is start introducing their own routes, um, adding their endpoint for the backend ones, and for the front end, adding different routes to it. But all of those initial, things that probably would take a full day in setting up. There are bootstrap scripts that you just run, and most frameworks now actually make it very, very simple. All you need to do is just run one line of command, and then it gives you that bootstrap, and then you just go ahead and start customizing it. And so it kind of gives you, so if you need to set up multiple projects, it's easy to do. And I think I mentioned this, that if as a DevOps practitioner, you probably be managing the um, version control system of the organization. That's, well, if, of whatever organization you find yourself. And then you need to create repositories for different projects, whether backend or front end. Developers would prefer that you just create an empty repository. And this because they have like a way of all of the README files, the env samples, all of the git ignore, all of those things, they have it bootstrapped, and so if any of you, if there's even a file inside of that directory, that bootstrap script will not run effectively because it's saying something there. So that's the purpose of modules also in our use case. The benefits, code reusability, improved maintainability. I think I mentioned all of this, and you can scale. You can easily create multiple, add features to your configuration file, because again, it's easy to maintain, so you can quickly reach. So you need to add more AZs now, because you have, your networking components, you have them in a particular configuration file. Is easy to know where the availability zones were defined, and then you can extend it easily. And all of those, can't overemphasize the benefit. Again, all of this, you guys will not, until we get into it. I mentioned that we have two types of modules, local and remote modules. Local modules are stored within the same projects as your infrastructure code, makes calling and pointing to all of the different modules that you have defined now. So the way Terraform projects are structured, we have that root directory, and then you have subdirectories inside of it. So your modules now will be sitting inside of a modules directory in there, and then it's easy to point to them. And then the remote modules are hosted in a separate repository, by a third party organization. Yeah. And HashiCorp, we're talking about Terraform now. So HashiCorp is, even though you have other source of modules in Terraform. Yeah, I think you have Git also as a source. There are some custom modules that you can pull from Git also, and I think we have other third-party contributors now. I'm sure Henry would like that to build his own custom modules where others would pull from and then likely use. Yeah, so again, all of this is to enable reusability across multiple projects. The thing I see about remote modules is if you use it as part of your configuration. Again, this is not me saying don't use remote modules, because you see that it actually saves you a lot. is that if whenever they contribute, whoever is hosting that decides, okay, yeah, I'm tired of this module, I want to discontinue it. If you've used it as part of your infrastructure provisioning, it means you are back to square one, and God help you, you used it for a very complex architecture. It means, all of that work that you didn't do initially, you have to redo it. And this would also lead to downtime of whatever, uh, service you have running on that infrastructure. So using remote modules, one needs to be, careful, sort of. Yeah. Or I think again, all that HashiCorp provides is very, very fine. But again, HashiCorp is also an organization. They're not prone to vicissitudes of this tech. Yeah. So each module type offers distinct benefits and is suitable for different use cases, providing you flexibility in infrastructure management. If you say custom modules, it comes with its own headache because you have to build from the ground up. Albeit it's just that initial setup that is always, it'll take some time, but managing it yourself is you can customize it as much as you want. So we'll take a look, we'll run examples on both local and remote modules. We'll start with remote modules anyways, because it's much straightforward. Yeah. All right, so best practices, again, because of the fact that you will be reusing this component, so you want to stick to best practices, for creating them, else it will come back to haunt you. Yeah, so you want to design your modules to handle individual infrastructure elements. Again, this for um, organization and then maintainability. I keep saying, so they are very, very similar to the concepts of libraries, packages, in programming language. Even, yeah, I think we even have modules also in programming language. So if you have ever programmed before, this would, make much sense, uh, uh, so you want to, use semantic versioning, you want to implement, um, you know, uh, um, use modules that can be um, that has this backward compatibility thing. Yeah, yeah. You don't want to use a module, and this mostly is when you would talk about remote modules. Yeah, so you don't, and then you want to document, even though infrastructure as code generally is self-documenting, but you still want to kind of provide documentation, to users on how to, especially when you will see remote modules now very well documented. You have to document the input and the output, and how what each of the inputs does, and all of those things. Yeah, documentation is a tool also that's is very, very powerful. I won't brag about this. I'm very, very weak in terms of documentation. In fact, I try to run away from it as much as possible. Yeah. Uh, but there are tools out there that actually help in documenting, that can aid, in documenting. So when I work with others, I would just always push the documenting part to my team members. So I always like to carry people along. Okay, this is what I did. So please make sure you take note of all of this. So in case we hit that roadblock again, we can. Yeah. But if you leave it to me, we'll be revisiting that problem over and over again. Yeah, and yeah, you have to test. Whatever module, whatever code you write, you always want to test it. Yeah. Module versioning. allows users to specify the exact module version, ensuring predictable infrastructure. So these are mostly when you're using the public Terraform registry, modules in Terraform registry. And you can kind of do a version constraint on it, say, okay, yes, because I know I've used this version of plugins, and so I want to use the module that would match that specific plugin, that I have for my existing infrastructure. Yeah, again, all of these would come in when when you're managing more complex kind of structure, yes. And then reusability promotes modular design, again, all of this, all the things that we've talked about. And finally, the key takeaway here is module makes streamlines your infrastructure development by promoting code reusability and consistency. And then makes maintenance easy. It's easy to quickly detect, okay, yes, this is where this particular configuration is, this particular file, whatever error that you get, it's easy to trace it. Okay, yes, is in this configuration on, this particular line number. And also you can scale. Yeah, these three are the most benefits now that we can say are for us. Yeah, so I think all of this talk can come to an end and we can jump into practice. I hope you guys are still with me.
Yeah, do.
All right. So to do this, I'm just going to create a new repository that we're going to use for this practice. It's going to call it this is going to deploy. Okay. Need to add a README file and also git ignore for Terraform. And that is all that I want. Okay, so let me clone this to my local. Hey, okay, I hope I have my local configured today. So I'm using my company's laptop for this, which I don't like. Okay, so let's just git clone.
You spelled it Julu module.
Okay. Well, my name. Julu.
Maybe I correct it now.
Oh, good.
So what are we doing in this repository we are building, we're creating?
I want to push code here.
Yeah, so it's just again to talk about remote modules. Just run a quick example on modules. There is no particular architecture. Again, just to introduce us to how to use modules. So I will try to recreate the architecture that we have always been saying, and see, we'll compare and contrast when we actually had to write all of those VPC components and maybe compute resources. Now we want to use module to kind of achieve all that we have, talked about or we have done manually, creating by ourselves. So infrastructure as code is like automating provisioning of your infrastructure, and inside of that automation, there's still automation inside the automation. Okay, box.
Okay. What's the template of that git ignore file?
I use Terraform.
Oh, TF. Okay.
I have. Okay, yes. So I said modules in every workspace. Yeah. This is this bold enough? Let me expand this. I don't know why this. Why? Okay, I only use this one teach, so it's very tiny just for my eyes. So in our workspace, again, just to go over.
Fine now.
Okay, yeah, thank you. The module, the workspace or this project structure, and this would actually, help. I know in our last work we did yesterday's session, everything we did was inside of this root module. So we'll call this, so for every configuration or, project that you work on, that's directory where, we have been creating all of our configuration files. We call it the root module. So every project is a module kind of in itself, because you have the configuration files in there, whether you decide to put everything inside of one configuration file or you decide to separate them into multiple configuration files. It's in that directory where you run all of your Terraform commands. We've had people try to run Terraform apply from a different directory that does not contain your configuration file. So you want to take note of that. Your root module, that's where you run, all of your configuration file. And then under that root module, you can have one or more, child modules, that will help you organize and reuse, different configurations, together. Yeah. And I also would like to, I talked about best practices earlier. Then HashiCorp actually recommends, that every module now follows certain code conventions, or standards now. You have a standard module structure. Yeah, one of these standard is that you have a minimum 3 configuration files per module. Yeah, and those 3 configuration files are, let me just create those 3 configuration files. So for every, again, we are learning best practices here. So you have your main.tf. I think I mentioned this. So main.tf usually is the primary entry point. That's where you define, you call the modules that you have, or even if that's where you want to create all of your configuration, all of your resources now, you have a main.tf file, very, very important. And you'll have to follow this, again, convention, best practice, so that when others are trying to read your configuration, they understand even before going into the nitty-gritty of that configuration. And then you also want to have a variables.tf file, and also an output. Oops, what do I do? Also an output.tf. So again, these are just conventions. Yeah. It's not like you have to follow it judiciously, or religiously. Now, it's just for when you start creating custom modules, you know that these 3 configuration files are what would guide, that's your creation now, all that you're creating. So we would be following this practice for this, our little example that we want to do, and then we would so we want to, again, try to use custom modules first. So I said, again, I'll be starting off with our main.cf file. A few things, this provider block, we are familiar with this. AWS is our provider. I'm just going to add my region US2. And then, yeah, that's all that we need for this one now. And then to get our modules, I always, again, my Terraform is the documentation is the single source of truth now to get whatever resource that I want to have. So I'm going to use my Andy AWS module. I can't type well today. AWS, what's resource? Let's go for VPC first. Let's use this. All right, so this is a Terraform module to create AWS VPC resources. So this is again, it's always good to start with the basic example now. Sorry. Where am I? Ready. The basic example. Yeah, so we have, and the module structure, the syntax basically is like our block is a block, you know, a block, and then it contains the name of the module, you know, and we have different inputs and outputs. Yeah, so, and I talked about documenting AWS Terraform now, HashiCorp, they have documented properly this particular module. And so in here, you can have multiple, it takes multiple inputs, and we'll see all of this. So let's just start with this very basic usage, and then we'll explain how we can actually use the input and then the outputs of this. So I'm taking this, I'm just going to come and paste this in here. Then we'll talk about a few things. So the source now is what determines, you know, whether your source, your module is local or is a remote repository. This now is calling from Terraform AWS module. So it's pulling it from a remote site, which is the HashiCorp registry, and this is your source. We would define our own local module soon, and then you see that the source will be pointing to a directory that is inside of, you know, our workspace also. And here you can name your module. So this VPC, we're trying to create a VPC now, and so you know, you can name this whatever you like. And like I said, we're trying to follow best practice, and so for our name, just so that our variable is not just sitting idle, and come here, and then I'm going to create a variable. I'm just going to call it VPC name. It's fine. Description, default. Do I need the default? Yeah. So I'm not going to. I'm going to be lazy in this. I don't want to create a CFVAS file, and type is very, very important. Don't you put a type for this? I want it to be a string. So we'll be following this. So this is going to be my. So I'm sure you guys already see that all of the things that we've learned are the things that we'll be using, you know, also in this module creation, whether you are creating your custom module or you are or you're using the remote module. So okay, so for our cider, again, we can also just, why not, create a module. Since this nigga wants to do it for us, I'm just going to use our default cider 10.0. 0/16. Guys, let's put you back here, and let's put that side. And for AZs, again, we want to follow best practice as much as possible. I call these AZs. Like let's call your VPC. That's called easy there. Ability zone, so you can have it in multiple. And our data type is a list. I don't think we've defined list in any of our configurations. So it's a list or a list of strings. Yeah, it's basically what this. Again, defaults, not best practice. You always want to have a TF-VAS file to use, as part of this, but I'm lazy today. So today I will be breaking all the rules. And our private subnet, then let's just use variables for all of this. Private subnet, default value. Let's put this in I'm going to 2 private and 1 public. Yeah, okay. And that's 0.0. Let's put that's 1.0. I know. 24 and 10. That's 0.2. 0, 24. No, so it's enough. Thank you. Should also be a list of string. So see, I am taking the remote module now. You guys will appreciate this beauty very, very soon. Let's put our public subnet also. And 0.0 slash 0 slash 24 10.0. I should have created 10.0.3 0 24. So 2 public and 2 private. All right. We have public subnets, enable NAT gateway. Yes, for our public, for our private, enable VPN gateway. I don't need this. And for all of this properties that we have now, so Terraform tags, I'm just going to leave it. We have all of them here. So if we come to inputs, we have all of this input. So I'm just going to take the ones that we have used. For AZs now is a list of ability zones, names or IDs in your region. Yeah, so that's basically what we did, a list of our availability zones. So we used the availability zones that we have in the region that we have, as US West to A, B, and C, as much as you want to use. And then again, all of this, we have all of this different configuration. It makes life easy. The NAT gateway is the one I want to show us now. Let's see, NAT gateway, that'll be N. So we have a lot. All of these things that would have probably needed to create ourselves. Because that is enable NAT gateway. Enable NAT gateway. Enable NAT gateway. Enable. Stay in one place, nigga. So we can set this also, whether to true or false. but the default value. So most of these things, if you don't set them, they have default values. Again, the use of configuration is one of the things you guys would really need to get used to. Enable underscore NAT gateway is what I'm looking for. Yep, should be true if you want to provision NAT gateway for each of your private networks. Depending on the number of availability zones you have anyways. Again, you have all of this, can use multiple things. So for this VPC now, we would have 2 private subnets and 2 public subnets. Also, you have multiple, again, different modules. I can come here and maybe let's come back to modules first. Browse modules. Let's do AWS. Yeah, modules.
Sorry, I want to find out. Are you going to increase the private subnet to by 2 again, or still maintain what do you maintain 2?
Increase it by 2. Okay, for the different.
We only have 4. That architecture is 4.
Oh, so you want me to build exactly that architecture for?
I thought that was what you said before initially.
Okay. So we can add 2 more to this then.
Yes.
All right. I wanted to do a very brief example before, but so for this, let me just use 2 availability zones and then or /4 not correct. Again, you can have as much as you actually want. Yeah. Okay. Usually good to actually create before you move on though. But that's fine. Let's now create probably, let's just create an EC2 instance, a cluster of EC2 instances in here.
You type ECS, not EC2.
Thank you. I don't know how it's doing me. This there. Searching in here can actually be very annoying. So let me just do. And I always like to start with a single instance, and you can have for each sports and all of this, plenty things that will cause confusion. I'm just going to. Then we can use as many modules as we want. Our source is the most important one. So let me just call this EC2 cluster. And then there is a count option here, screen just 2, 3 micro. Key name, do I need a key for this? No, I don't need a key because we're not connecting to you. Monitoring, always monitor. VPC security group. So you can reference, interpolate output of one module inside of another module. So for our VPC security group, because obviously our instance has to be inside of a VPC now. So we can always reference this, and it's the same way you reference or you interpolate everything. You just take the definition of whatever it is you want to reference, and then you bring it in here, and then you add this module VPC. And what we want here is security group. I think is default security group ID now that we want for here, because we've not created our own security group. So just stick to the default security group. And then for subnet ID, let's just put this in the public subnet. So just going to take, again, we have our default VPC already, and then just interpolate this. And the moment you even add this, these are all of the different outputs that you have in here. So public subnets, and then is an array. Yeah, so this is a list of arrays. So I'm just going to use the default, the public subnet 0, which would be going to be this one. Yeah. And again, this is as simple as it is. Let's Alfred, I see your hands are up. Did you want to say something? Okay.
That was the previous one, sorry.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Mm.
Let's initialize this, and then before we go ahead. So let's Terraform init. I know I didn't create a backend state for this. Again, our focus is on modules here. What? There's no closing brace for the block at the end of the file. 25. It's this guy. This my guy. You know, allow Terraform format. I would have gotten that from. Okay. I see. You guys notice that our Terraform, well, after running the Terraform init, the folder structure is kind of different from when we were using our root module, to house all of our configuration files. With that, it only pulls in those plugins. Yeah, but for now that we're using modules, we see that we have this kind of modules directory. Once it's done pulling in all of those, we'll see the structure properly. Olumi, yes, I don't understand what it is for. Okay, yes, so we see now that we have our Terraform directory, we have the providers, which usually is there. And then now we have a modules directory. This modules directory is where all of the definition, all of all the things that we defined in here, all of that abstraction that has been taken away. If I can just get this to, all of the things that have been abstracted. So for our VPC module now, if we come in here, again, I mentioned the 3 files or configuration that HashiCorp recommends, and they themselves, they follow it. So all of these things have been abstracted away from us, even though again, it kind of, if you want to bother yourself, it kind of has some kind of complexity to your configuration. But again, you don't have to worry about, you're not managing all of this. HashiCorp is managing all of this. But if you want to go down, inquisitive, you want to see, okay, now that I, what I did in 38 lines, if I want to go ahead and do all of this inside of one configuration files, I would at least have nothing less than 200 lines of code for each of these subnets. You do your association, create your NAT gateway, and all of those things. So you have all of those things. If you look in here, they have been defined in here. All of VPC, the CIDR block, everything that's, you would have in all of those resources. If you look at all of this block, you see that there are different resources, all of the association, even the local file that creates your subnets now, everything that you would have created, your route table, your internet gateway, all of those definitions, you have it inside of this. Yeah, so if you are interested in, seeing how this works, yeah, you can take your time and go through all of this, which I don't think, again, there are things that you probably are familiar with, especially these resources. Yeah. And then, you take a look at your EC2 also, everything, that you should have done. This is where the encapsulation part actually comes in, and abstraction. You abstracted all of those things away from you. All you need to do is call the module, the VPC module. And this, you can't change this. This is saying for this VPC module, this is where the source is from. If we were creating our own module now, you have to rename this. But since this is a remote module, we are calling it from the HashiCorp registry. So we have all of this. Let's go ahead and run this. Terraform, apply to approve. Okay. I'm not really sure. There should be a way. Okay. 10.0, why is not valid? Where is that? I have plenty error here. Here we start from the beginning.
Subnet.
Wait. You people did not even tell me that. We are trying to create an EC2 instance. There's no image. But we'll get to this one after the other. Let's our CIDR 10.5.0. Okay, this is not a valid CIDR. It's just an IP/24. That one is fixed. Okay, what next? I know. Resource private, blah blah blah. Okay, next. There's no AMI in this thing. EC2 AMI. Obviously, our EC2 should have an AMI. In fact, it should be. We got the code from this Terraform registry. So you people are the ones that give us bomb Terraform, HashiCorp. Why don't you put AMI inside of this? So even if it comes, yeah, okay, maybe it should come with it. Makes sense if it actually comes with it. But we have different AMIs now with different architecture. So they probably, want you to have that flexibility. Yeah, so I think it should be one of the things that should have been added to this number one thing. Now you are bringing AMI. You not suggest it when somebody needed it. So, but we know this AMI probably would not work. So I need to get an AMI. Why not? Let's add it as a variable. Yeah. Instance type power. Let's call this. What should we call this? Is it to instance AMI? Because why not? String. This guy, why are you not always conflicting this thing for me? Giving me half code. Default description string. Okay, that's complete. I'm going to get AMI.
How that AMI auto-generated? Hello?
Yes.
I said, how was AMI or auto-generated? Like, or you just copied and pasted it?
His best friend.
His Copilot actually did all of this.
Oh, okay. Nice.
If not specified, you should create a default image. Balumi, where did you get that from? From the documentation. Let's check our input. The default is null. It won't auto-generate anything for you. ID of the AMI to use for the instance is null. So I'm just going to get an Ubuntu AMI here. Why not? Not like we are connecting to it though. And then I'm going to add this in here. It makes sense, but again, you have different architecture of AMIs now. So am I missing anything? VPC, AMI monitoring. Okay, so it's going to add. Hey, God, I beg. What's this? No such host. 28. Instance type, monitoring, VPC. So do you mean no such host? Oh, West 2. Where is it getting? Why does this keep doing this to me? Region is East. I never used West or anything. And because the AMI I'm using is picked from ES. You know, AMIs are region specific. So this was trying to pull yes, West 2. So follow ChatGPT at your own risk, or be Copilot. So this is going to create 37 resources for me, in 39 lines of code. I think that's very interesting. Imagine I had to create all of this one after the other. My VPC, NAT gateway, all of those resources. I don't like errors. Says a plenty God. Oh boy. Ah, God. Everything is scattering, everything is breaking. See, I changed it up here. I didn't change it here. So
Yeah, I think because you didn't run the init
again,
when you
yeah, okay. That's actually so, and you're very, very correct. So when you're working with modules, yeah, when you actually edit your configuration, you should always do a Terraform init. I don't know why that skipped my mind. But I didn't think for remote repository, for remote modules. This was necessary. Is it necessary? It's custom when you are creating a custom one, but this should just work straight, or else Balumi just be ready to take over this class. I'm just going to hand, because it's Balumi that is distracting me. So he has created a few others. He has created some, so it's just going to that's idempotent nature of configuration. Is trying to create all of the necessary ones.
So by himself, it will distribute the subnet into two to his
this is actually something I'm actually looking forward to myself. I want to see how it's going to distribute it, because I don't know why I said I want to recreate that thing, but from this output, let me look at the what's that key now? Public private subnet. Let's see how it's going to come to configuration private subnet as P. Oh, right. Private subnet. A list of outposts to that into your VPC. And it's not saying how it's going to distribute it. Should be a way. I want to believe it's going to be smart enough, but there should be a configuration that into public tags, public subnets. There's nothing about this saying how it's going to distribute it. But let's come to our instance now. Let's see if we wants. Let's see. It's not done creating though, but I'm actually interested to see how it's going to put those private subnets inside of the two probability zones that we have. Hope you are smart enough, Terraform. So I think it's this one that we just created. Let's raise up our resource map and let's see. So it is smart enough to put two private subnets and one public subnet, but I see here that it created 4. God, I beg. So, but there should be an input that would help in maybe specifying to a NAT gateway for an availability zone. Where is NAT gateway? NAT gateway used to pass a custom destination route for not specified, gateway tag, one NAT gateway. So this is what I should have used. Should be true if you want only one NAT gateway per availability zone. Requires var.asis to be set. Yeah. And the number of public subnet created to be greater than or equal to the number of availability zones created in the var. So by default, this is false. So if we want to do this, we can go ahead and use this option, because this is going to be basic. And it's going to create elastic IP addresses for each of them. So we can do this, and let's see if this would work.
If you don't put it to be true or false, that's why to just go ahead creating something.
So the default value is false. Yeah. Which means it should just for every public. So if you see, I think the NAT gateway option that we have there, that's configuration that we said enable NAT gateway. It will just create NAT gateways for each of the public, as many public subnets that you have, which you just did now. It will create one NAT gateway for each of them. Yeah, so it did for this, for this, for this. Terraform. You want us to pay money, or hopefully this new configuration. So because it can actually get overwhelming, both interesting and overwhelming at the same time, because you have.
Is fine.
What'd you say?
The distribution is fine. He puts 3 for his zone.
Yes, yeah, for the subnets.
Firmness, yeah.
But I'm sure there is an output now, or an input rather, that would specify, okay, yes, I want 2 of this here, because list of you just list the availabilities on the side. You know, we have over 230 different inputs that you can have inside of this. There are 80 resources now, you know, that is kind of attached to this one module. Yeah, you know, it's a lot, and it gives you on one outputs that you can use as inputs in other configuration, just like we did, you know, in here where we used where did we start again? Yes, this is our default security group and our public subnets. Now we have a lot of this. Yeah, so there's a lot that has been abstracted away. Refresh this, hopefully. Nothing changed. Private apps subnet. No. Okay, it has gotten it. So yeah, this is our network infrastructure. Yeah, so if you guys can compare again, this is always a compare. So we did our VPC, all of that VPC configuration in you know, say 17 lines or 18 lines of code. Imagine you had to create all of this, you know, all by yourself. You can imagine the number of, you know, lines of code you have, and then plenty back and forth. If you now decide you want to start, you know, adding variables and what have you. Yeah, so this is the beauty of you know, remote repository. You have people that have done all of the heavy lifting. You know, for you, all you need to do is read their documentation and then apply you know, the changes, the configuration, the inputs that you want, and you know, customize it, you know, to suit whatever architecture you're trying to actually achieve. Yeah. So now we would now. I hope this remote repository is straightforward, and whatever resource you want to create, there is a module for it. Yeah. You browse AWS module. We have sorry, quite a number of them for RDS, RDS, your key management service. We have over 8,000 modules now. So that also can, you know, be kind of overwhelming. Yeah, and you would see most of these modules now, they are kind of intertwined. So your security group modules now, for instance, if you need to use it inside of your configuration, you pass in your obviously VPC to your security group modules. You would, you know, do some interpolation, and again, this would kinds of, so if you are trying to troubleshoot anything, whatever the error is easy to say, okay, yes, this error I'm getting is you know, security group issue. Let me go and check, you know, what's you know, the ports that I have opened, you know, and you know, those little things. This still requires that you understand all of these things are actually how they work. Else, you know, troubleshooting will become an issue. Yeah, so we will be moving away from this. Let me destroy this. And then we would write our own module. It's not fun. I really wish I could run away from writing my own module, but yeah, we'll do it. I'm going to push this to source control. Remote module. Done. No stage. It's gonna sync here. Is destroying 29 resources. All right. I will be creating another repository for this, but I don't want to use this Julu module. I'm going to delete that immediately. Why did I even push that? Well, can we take 10 minutes and then would come back and then complete this? We'll start our custom module. Is that fine?
It's okay, but so by me.
Or are there any questions on this remote module? It looks like it's just Master Outfall that is responding today. Henry, are you out?
But let me respond as well now.
Oh, okay, that's true.
I'm responding now.
Sorry, Austin.
Ah,
No vex, no vex. We'll take 10 minutes and then come back to write our own custom module. Oh, shoot. Welcome back, guys. I did not pause this recording. Shit. How did I forget? Welcome back, guys. I don't know. I'm going to cut that 10 minutes away from this. Right. So, just going to jump right into it. So we'll be deploying a. Are you guys back, or can I continue?
Yeah, yeah,
All
well,
right.
yeah.
Yes,
All right, okay.
yes, yeah.
So we'll be deploying a Jenkins server. Well, the goal again is to create or use custom modules to create a Jenkins server. Yeah. So I will just be this. I don't know. I'm just going to delete you because you're not doing anything here. Sorry. Let's just start. Juju. Password was not to enter. All right, so let's go ahead and create a module. I'll call it creating custom modules. Yeah. Okay. Custom. All right. That's this. It's cool. Module. All right, so we will be doing this in so so for this, we'll be taking a much more different approach. Like I said, we'll be breaking down our different configuration into different directories, and then we'll be using them. So for stars, yeah, yes. So I want to do this so that I know the past one we did, we did not consider that we'll be working as part of a team. So our state file was directly inside of our configuration. But for this, we'll be creating a backend state. Let's just create a backend state that we would be using again, just to kind of add structure, that modular structure to our configuration. And then inside of this, so this again is a module on its own. Yeah, yeah. So inside of this, let me just create a main.tf. I'm just going to could as well add my variables.tf and output.tf to this for best practice. But for this, I know it's just my S3 bucket that I want to create in here now. So I'm going to do provider AWS. Still have started with the other region REST2 that they did not send it. I'm not going to use you. Thank you. And then I'm going to, instead of, yes, I think we can, instead of having variables file and you know, a TFVAS files or whatever, I think another way to define your variable, you can define your variable directly inside of your configuration file. So call this AWS region. Don't need description for this. So thank you. My default is US East 2. And then I can pass this here directly. So this is actually valid configuration. Instead of having a separate file for your variable, you can actually define it inside of this, which is not very, very good practice because it defeats the whole purpose. Why not just put it inside, or just do it directly? Yeah, but resources, let's create an S3 bucket here. What's that S3 bucket?
But you can also do it here together, then later remove it and make it separate file, right?
Yes, yes, you can. Yeah. Or
Better that way. Yeah, so that you be seeing what I'm doing.
easy
One
as
side.
it's easy to reference it. Makes sense. Yeah. And so S3 buckets. I want to let ChatGPT help me, but I know it's going to give me outdated code. S3 buckets. Let's just call this Terraform state. I don't want it to be private. Want a versioning. Why is versioning cancelled? Enable true. Versioning is deprecated reason. What's the reason? It's deprecated. Okay. All right. So
use it. Yeah.
Terraform AWS S3 buckets. The resource. Let's see what they have to say about this now. A private bucket versioning. It should be. There's no interesting. I was thinking they will give us other option. S3, VSS3 bucket. Versioning is what I want. Versioning is optional as a bucket. Partly change the channel. Okay, resource instead. Assume management, treating additional version state changes as straight. For this reason, versioning cannot be mixed with external. Okay. All right. So this is still fine though. Still fine. It's not going to introduce any breaking change related to this, but one always wants to use the most recent configuration anyways. Let's see this version. This is a a resource on its own. Returning onto versions. Would you open this for me? That'll just been easier if you created registry. This is what I wanted. Okay, to use, you must have your buckets, and then you add CL to it, and then you now create. What kind of complexity is this? You. I'm just going to stick with my versioning enabled. Let them. The only difference is that I don't have extra power over the versioning. All I want is just create multiple versions of my Terraform state file. Life circle, prevent, destroy. Yeah, okay, because it's housing very confidential. This thing, yeah, let's let it prevent, destroy. Yeah. Right. So with this, I can go ahead and run this. So when you have your configuration, structured this way, you want to be you should be very take note of where you are running that configuration file. So if I do a print working directory now, if I do a Terraform init, can somebody guess what it would say? I'm sure Terraform would throw a tantrum and say, I don't understand what you're trying to say. There is no configuration file in here or something. Because obviously, yeah, this is just an empty, what's going on? No. Okay. Terraform initialized in an empty directory. Directory has no Terraform configuration file. You can begin working with Terraform and creating So this is actually expected because there is truly no configuration file in here. So you need to go into the backend state and then run your Terraform from here. So this is like a sub project inside of your original project. Yeah. And so while this is creating, I'm going to go ahead and create another directory. So I want to call this development. So I want to kind of have multiple environments now. And so again, development staging, I'm going to start off with the development environment. And inside of this now, we will have yeah, okay, let's ride with this. Well, this is created. I'm not going to wait this, even though we'll need buckets as part of this, but while this is creating, I'm going to create those three, yeah, initialized. Okay, yeah, then I can do it from apply. What's up? Feels like we are doing the same thing over and over again, Shay. Wow. Oh, hey, God, I beg. I don't think I gave, okay. Why did I call this bucket states 2021? Hey, I didn't even look at the name at all. Thank God this didn't create 910 S3 bucket. Request buckets already exist. Obviously, Terraform states. So just make this a bit dynamic even more. So the error was that bucket actually, I did not even take note of that name. So that's failed exists. There's another fresh error. State. I don't understand what you mean. Don't understand what you mean.
Why don't you add your profile to it?
Okay, that makes sense. But I have just a default profile running, so
Okay.
And that's from my AWS toolkit. Has picked that up already. So it's connected to AWS with. It's just going to be redundant there. Don't understand. No such post. Stop with buckets. Send field. Is it that the name does not exist, or what exactly is the color of the problem of this thing? State bucket, Terraform underscore state. Yeah. Okay. Without. We just created something. No. All of this. I don't want to believe. It was name that was causing all of this to fail. As in, what's the explanation for this right now? Anyhow, our bucket is created. Thank you for creating. Because I added Jenkins to it. Let me even be sure that I actually created this, because I don't even trust this Terraform again, right? Okay, we see that I have this here, and our region gets this too. All right, save. All right, so in our development now, I want to create, so this is a project on its own. So in here, I want to, again, my main.cf, always like to start with that. And what else would I need in here? Yeah, let me just start with the main.cf and initiate. Let's do the different housekeeping provider, AWS. Again, it's a new project, so these are actually important. And I'm going to do the same thing that I did in here. Just going to variable AWS underscore region. And I'm not going to add anything to this. I'm just going to make it so I see that I did not do this right. It's supposed to be quotes, yeah. All right, so I'm going to reference this in here, say AWS region, yeah. I will be calling using a secret file in here. And yeah, let's have a Terraform block. Get yourself, dude. Backend. Let's call it Terraform. I'll put this. I always like to put this. Okay. Bucket name is Terraform. Yeah. There's something missing. Yeah. that closing brace, and then let's add key starting from the TF state file, but seeing that I will have multiple environments, so mobile development and TF last file. What region this is? Region is US East. I was going to encode this because why not? All right, so let me just add a VPC to this. Yes, so the VPC resource. I don't want to put inside the default VPC, so let's put this in VPC. I'm just gonna call this mode and VPC. Don't create one VPC tire. Also, let's do this variable. Let's call this slider. We have not started creating our this thing yet though. Modules. This again, I was skipping things. I think let me just enable the NSO's name, because why not? True. And this is fine for my VPC.
Sorry, where is the mobile come from? Just the name of your own. Name it the mobile. I know the development from the file there.
Which of them? Which resource are we looking at?
The key. Look about the key here. The key.
Oh, okay. So this will create a directory. What the key? So the key is basically the name of your TF state file, but you can put it in the directory. So this is saying create a directory called Moban. Inside of that directory, create another directory.
Okay, and then put the file there.
Okay, the file inside of it. Yeah. So with this, I can, when I want to create an environment, say the staging environment, I can decide, okay, yes, inside the same mobile key, inside these buckets, inside of this directory that we already have, put staging in here, and then put staging's TF state file instead of that staging environment.
Okay. Just the name of your own. Okay.
Yes. Okay. So mobile VPC. Okay. I think this is fine. I said, okay, for now, let me create my, oh no, this is where I want to put it. Let's just add our output.tf, even though I don't think I'll be using it for anything though. And oh yeah, what else do I need here? Okay, secrets.tf. Bars. All right. So here I want to pass in my AWS region that was created. It's going to be US East. So thank you. I think I created CIDR also. I think we have been using 10.0 for too much. Let's use 172 because that's not the only private IP address that there is. Yeah. So let's use this. And let's see. Okay, I don't think we've initialized this. Looks good. CIDR, region, CIDR's name, etc. Okay, now let me see what direction am I in. I'm in back end state, so I need
You're not in the region there. Sorry.
Region.
This one here, the one under the Terraform block here. You're supposed to put the VAD.aws region there.
This, you mean this?
Yes.
No, so I'm just encoding this region directly.
Okay, how do you that?
Yes.
Okay.
It's quite different from the region for this provider block.
Yeah, but
the region where
why didn't you use the variable on this? Is there
so this region is the region where our S3 bucket was created. So the fact that it tallies with this, yeah, you can go ahead and use this. But if, say, you want to change the region where your resources are created in, and you change it there, it would, because the S3 was not created in whatever region you're changing it to now, it would throw an error there. I don't know if you understand.
Okay.
I understand it, but if you want to have code, you can also change the name. So say region one.
Yes, you can.
No, it's okay. But it's okay.
Mm, mm. So I'm coming. So except you, since we created this in here, it's not going to change anyway. So yeah, you want to use it to match the region wherever your backend states region was created. That's why I know that. Okay, so I'm going to cd out of that backend state and into my development. And make sure I am there. Then I'm going to do a Terraform in here to visualize this. Oh boy. Okay, this is empty. It's empty. Mm. Okay, my outputs. Can we quickly, what do we want to output? Nothing. There's nothing to output. So that you're not empty. So let's just put output. APCID. Because why not? The value should be AWS Mobile APCID. Thank you. Then just for letting this sec, right? This is done. All right, so let's apply this now. Terraform apply. So if I run this Terraform apply, it would not see my TFVAS file because it's named is different from the name that I used here is not terraform.tfvas file. So when you have a different name now, aside from the one that Terraform recognizes, you need to pass that. You have to tell that command now that you are passing in a variable file. Yes, a file that it should pick your variables from. You do this with the var file flag, and then you point it to the secrets .tfvars. Let's do an auto approve here. I challenge you guys to try to apply without adding this to it and see what error it will throw. I've tried it and
It won't work now.
I'm not interested in saying it. But if the one we did, was it yesterday? We didn't have to pass this. We just ran it, and then it picked those secrets, those variable files automatically from the terraform.tf file. All right, so again, all of these are just us cleaning, and then we have our configuration kind of, okay, our output worked. So what next? What next? Okay, yes. So now we want to we'll start creating our modules now. when we ran the remote module and then we applied it, or just I think initialized it, it pulled in that module directory where all of the definition of the module now was done. So to create our custom module, you need to have such structure also. You're going to have a modules modules directory. Yeah, so inside of the development, the whatever environment now, you're going to create a modules. So you have to call it modules. And the moment you create it, because of the extension we have, we can see that is already labeled properly as a module. And then so inside of this module now, you can start creating the different modules that you want to have. Yes. So for this, I will start off by creating, I have a VPC without subnets. So I want to create a subnet module. I'm going to make this as simple as possible. Again, there is that you can have this structured however you want. So but this is me just subnet .cf. So subnets.cf, I'm going to create a subnet resource. It's calling it AWS. It's AWS subnet. Correct. Let's create a public subnet. I'm just going to try to use this. So I'll be using constructs that are out of the box. That will make life easy. So we have functions in the HashiCorp configuration language that we can use in that's the language actually provides that we can use to do quite a number of things. Functions are kind of helpers now. You can create your own functions to reuse, or you can use functions that whatever language you're writing actually provides. So HashiCorp provides us with a few functions that kind of helps we can use to kind of make our programming dynamic. Yeah, so we have been coding most of these things. So I think we can take this route for our subnet. I actually pulled this from, if you go through the remote module that we pulled earlier, and then you go through that module where all of those modules were defined, you see that they actually use quite a number of functions, as part of their definition. So this is where I got this from here. So for our CIDR now, I'm going to use this CIDR subnets function. CIDR subnets. Okay, thank you. But not, this is not correct. Why are you putting it in braces? Shouldn't be, it's a function. It's a function, yeah. So what this is doing is going to take whatever CIDR now that we have defined inside of our VPC. That CIDR is something 17.0, blah, 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 whatever. And then it's going to now do some calculations on it. So this 8 is saying for the side, this thing. Where's that my CIDR? Yes. So it's just going to add whatever bits that you say you want, whatever bits you want to add. So it will take this CIDR block now, and then this notation here to add 8 bits to it. And if you add 8 bits to 16, that's /24. So you have 172 blah 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 /24 for this subnet for this, and then to go to the second octet, second or the third octet now, and then do increase that by 2. You can down say count.index. Yeah. Functions can be interesting because you're passing parameters to it and you have to study that function to know exactly what they do. But this is kind of straightforward. Availability zone, I'm going to use this also. This also is using another function called element, var.availability zones. I don't have ability zones. Ability zone. What ability zones? Availability zone. Where is it pulling var.availability zone from? Okay. There will be plenty back and forth because I don't think I've created availability zone in my in .tf. We should have availability zone somewhere in here. Should have availability zone somewhere here. So I'm going to create an availability zone variable. Eh. Okay. Hopefully this will have gotten rid of that. No, it hasn't. Why have you not gotten rid of that? Okay, I'll come back to you. Then counts.index. All right. Let's just map launch on IP to true and use a count to determine the number of availability zones we can have. So I'm going to use a variable to determine the number of public or private subnets that we can have. Try to make this as dynamic as possible also. Subnet count would probably have to create this also in here, variable. That will be public subnet count. That will call it public subnet count. Wait. All right, coming back to my subnet. Public subnet counts. Of you would run a reverser. And then let's tag this also. To format. No. I don't like this name. Just call it mobile public subnet. I've been using underscore, so let's keep it uniform. I'm just going to replicate all of this for my private subnet. Resource. Could have just copied and pasted the AWS subnet. Let's call it private subnet, and yes, let's replicate all of this. Thank you. So this is exactly just what I want, but for my private subnet, I don't want you to add anything, just used to availability zone, add availability zone, mount index, not public IP on launch. It has to be false because we don't need the public IP address. Count is var.private subnet. Count. I'm going to create a variable for this. Let me run private subnet. That's my main dot this variable. All right. What next? So I have my subnet. It's correct, complete. I will need a variables.tf in here also, because there should be a way to map the variables, these variables now, because it's still showing squiggly line. Yeah. So I need to get rid of those. This still inside of our modules. Let's create variables dot tf. So we need, I can just copy all of this. I need side availability zone, side availability zone, public subnet, private subnet. Hopefully, yes, that has gotten rid of availability zone and public and private subnet counts. Yep. Yep. What else do I need? Okay.
The region is depending there. The region is still there in the covered region. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not referencing.
You didn't copy the region.
Yeah, I'm not referencing. The reason why I added this is because, you know, when I created this subnet, now there are variables here, this subnet counts, availability zone. That's why I'm not referencing my region in this configuration at all.
Okay.
Yeah, that was all right. So next, I think I can close out on here. I need a, what else do we need now? Let's create a route table. Okay, let me make this a bit interesting. Public route table.tf. Again, this can be structured in any way you want. Resource. I'm going to realize I've not created an internet gateway, so I need an internet gateway. Internet gateway. I'm just going to call this IGW, because why not? Okay, I will need this VPC ID dot PC underscore ID. So I will need a VPC ID inside here. Variable, what do I call it? VPC underscore ID. Should have gotten rid of that squiggly line. Yep, thank you. Let's tag you. Let's call it mobile IGW. All right. And resource routes table. Yeah. The route table side. I'm just going to put the default wildcard side. Gateway ID, definitely. It's a public route table. And tag here. Thank you. Ah, my guy is working today. Glory. So my keystroke. Now I need to associate this route table, public route table association, public route table association, count var.public subnet counts. Yep, using the public subnet counts that will be passed subnet ID, using the elements to add the number of IDs, public subnet now, and then the route table is the route table. I think I am fine with this. Yeah. Let's go ahead and still do a private route table .tf. Again, I want to modularize things as possible, break them down. The public route table is housing the internet gateway. Again, you can feel free to structure this however you want. So this would be my AWS routes table. Routes table. This guy, you're not working. You're not working. Private. My name will be very easy. So if you don't help me, routes here should be 0, 0. Not gateway ID. Not created. Have I created not gateway? I need a not gateway. I didn't create a not gateway. I'm just creating. Well, yeah. Doesn't matter anyways, but I need a not gateway first. I need a not gateway first. And we know that our NAT gateway actually requires an EIP. So I'm just going to call this EIP.
Why not modularize the NAT gateway instead of putting it in the private route table?
Modularize it. That's
Yeah,
what
putting
we are creating our own module. We are not pulling remote modules. We are creating our own custom modules now.
Yeah, I mean, like putting it in his own this in the way you have been putting the subnets and the rest.
So this structure is you can do this however you like. But what I'm doing is so for my public subnet now, I created a public route table with an internet gateway that the public route table will use, and then associated with public subnets. And so for my private route table now, since it's going to be working hand in hand with the NAT gateway, so I'm putting it inside of this private route table.
Okay.
I don't know if that makes sense. Again,
it
can be structured in multiple ways. Yeah. VPC does not work here. Again, it's the main we use now. Domain is VPC. I remember this from our last session.
Yes, it's duplicated already.
I don't have you. Is it dependent on the inside gateway? Okay. I don't want anything that will break my code. Tags. Let's call this. John is ng. Yeah, P. Not gateway. This makes more sense. I don't think this needs to depend on the internet gateway. It can sit on its own. Now we need NAT gateway. Okay, you're smart enough to give me that now. Gateway allocation ID is the internet gateway. EIP. Oh, okay. It's supposed to be a NAT gateway. That's what I wanted to do there. No wonder. So pub subnets. Subnet ID for this NAT gateway. What is this? Public subnet. We are doing this public subnet is going to be generated on the fly, so I need an element to do this. AWS subnet, the public subnet here, then use, I think this makes sense. Tag this. Now I can now reference my gateway ID here. AWS _NAT, and that gateway ID. Should know by now that I'm tagging all my resources. Tag. ChatGPT is not so smart after all, Abby. Something is missing here. There's a closing brace that is missing. Why is this? Quickly liar an attribute tag is not expected here. Okay. That is in the wrong block. Wrong block. In the wrong block. Should be outside. So it's more like it. All right. I think this is looking good thus far. I don't have any squiggly line. My variables are fine. The private public route table, all of you are looking fine. Subnet is fine. What's next do we need? I think that's all. Okay, my secrets.tf verse file. I need to add the values that I've added. Okay, this is when I need to run. Well, let's just add this down. Private subnet count. Now we have kind of, okay, we are still creating our subnets. Yes, I forget. Yes, it's doing our server itself. We need to create our server. So I'm just going to call this Jenkins.tf. This is just going to be creating an EC2 resource, an AWS instance, rather. AWS instance. I'm just gonna call this Jenkins.
Sorry, sir. The counts. We're using two.
I'm just creating
the
two public, two private.
one is supposed to be 0 and 1. You're not using indexing.
Let me. Where was that? Where did we define that?
Might be creating 3. 0, 1, 3, 0, 1, 2. No.
Is it here?
We're using indexing. Yeah, yes.
No, this is just specifying the number of public and private subnets that it should create. You know, when we defined our public, well, I think it's in the subnets now, subnets. When we defined the count here, we're just telling the number of subnets it should create. So the number of subnets to create. So where is, yes, it's just defining, and then also we have it in the private, public, and this is public. This is supposed to be public. It's private. Private. Private.
So more like a two-tier architecture.
Yes. Private subnet counts. Why is this showing on error? Do you have two public? Hey, God. Thank God you even brought me back here, else I was just passing the wrong thing. Public. I think configuration is not fun. But I caught this, so thank you. Okay, Jenkins server, AMI, Titsuri micro would run Jenkins server by, should. Subnet, element, public subnets, just put in the public subnets because why not? Key, I need key, not security group, we don't need security group. Again, I need VPC security group rather. IDs, so AWS. I've not created security group. I need to create a security group, yeah? Should have created that first. Well, let me associate public IP address true, and then just tag this. Jenkins, I need okay, let's add some extra things to this. We did talk about provisional loop, or that's a bit advanced there. Let's block device. Let us just add this. Stance size 8, GP2 is we have newer version delete and termination. It's fine. That's not correct. Okay, so security group, very, very important security group, because we referenced that already. This side for the security group is going to be 0.0.0.0/ No, do I need port 22? No. The only reason I'm creating this is because Jenkins runs on port 8080. So let's do 8080. Is a TCP protocol, and all right. Ingress, let's have egress also. Side for this is yeah. That's right. Am I missing something? Yeah, okay. I don't want to keep just output to public IP. Yeah. Let's do this. And PC security group is still complaining and running is not expected. AWS security group. Jenkins ID. Is that not correct? VPC security group IDs. AWS security group. Oh, VPCS. It's supposed to be VPC. Okay, this AMI. So let me just do mago to this answer, because we're not focusing on Jenkins. I could have added a script that would install and do Jenkins, but yeah. Let's.
I was going to ask you that before.
But I could as well search for Jenkins in the marketplace. I could get an AMI that is out of the box. Let's search for Jenkins. So the problem now is because these are region specific. Hopefully, I think this would pull from regions that are I think I can choose this. Let's just take a community one, even though it's AWS. Yeah. All right, so I'm just gonna use this. Automatically, this should contain the Jenkins installation. Else, you probably would need to add the user data and then create script to do all of those. So we have created our set of modules. Again, this can get very, very complex. Now we only have subnet and all of these little things that could have actually stayed inside of one file and then broken it down. But how do we now, because right now, how do we use all of this? Yeah. Just give me a minute. We need to actually instantiate. Oh, okay, yes. Inside of our main. Now we want to call this module just like we did inside of our. We called our the module block. So now we are creating our module. We can call this whatever name we want to call it. So I can just call this mobile module. And this is going to do a bunch of work for me. All right. So the source now is saying from this directory, enter inside of modules, and that's where you're going to get all of our modules. But it's still throwing me a lot of squiggly lines that I do not understand. It's required here. So VPCID is going to call the stop VPCID availability zone. I think even before you call availability zone, we need CIDR block first. Yeah. It's got VPC CIDR block and availability zone. Why is this not why is this giving me all these squiggly lines? Public subnet counts and private subnet counts. So this is our own custom modules now, but nothing seems to be making sense because we have all of the squiggly lines. So I have my region, CIDR here, ability zone, private and public subnets. Okay, we need to actually instantiate this the modules now that we created. We only created them, we've not instantiated them. We need to instantiate them. We would go into let's see what directory we are in. We are in our development directory. So let's do a Terraform init. I have all of this in here. Okay. To come in here. For a minute. No query provider registry. Go to install provider. I do not think I have to come in here to run. Okay. Why are you trying me? is required here. Oh, what is this error about? Modules. For a minute should work now. Okay, so it's as initialize my modules. Initializing modules. So I still train all of these errors. I expect that all of this should go. Am I doing something wrong here? Spider public. I don't like custom modules. I have my region, my BPCID, BPCID. See now. Am I using BPCID anywhere inside here? My private subnet. Yeah, this is fine. So what is the one of contention for this thing by? Well, what is this? Why is this throwing an error? This is not supposed to throw an error. Let's initialize again. My modules are fine, but there are errors in here. Where is this coming from? I'm just going to try to apply. This is me going to Terraform apply. I think I ran this apply earlier. It's my secrets.cfvas because I don't want to type all of those again. Yeah, true error. Let's see. And I think no definition was found. Slider block. So I VPC mobile CID. This is the VPC now. So yeah, these are the things I defined. What am I missing? So inside
I
here,
think let's look closely where the CIDR block is being defined.
so it created the modules directory, and this is correct. Created it. Let me add, yeah, this is correct now. This is fine. So the PPC CIDR block is defined here. PPC CIDR block, and we're using it inside of our subnet here. PPC CIDR block. PPC CIDR block. This is a. Where else am I using it? var.c. It has identified the module. So what's this? The PCID. Let me go over this one after the other. I started from this. I think all of this actually is defined properly. It's just that calling that is not calling now. It's your variables. Yeah, I created my public route table, my internet gateway, my public route table, and then the association. That's fine. And the private, the IP, now gateway, the route table. Wait. Something missing in here. Something missing in here. I don't have route table association in here. So I only have my private route table. There's no route table association. But that's not even a reason to source. Net ID, public route table, account here, and the public. This is for private route table, yeah. Yeah. Why did I? This is private now. I'm mixing these things up. Private route table association, private subnet count, subnet ID, subnet, private subnet, private subnet ID. This should be the count.index. Route table should be private route table. What did we call that? Private route table, yeah, private RT.
Check up there. Check up there. Yeah. Sorry.
It's
No, not
private.
there. Yes, supposed you put TA, route table TA.
Oh, okay. No, this is the association, route table association. Yeah. This is the route table association. It's the route table now that I'm referencing, route table ID in here. Still getting the squiggly lines around here. This is not correct. I know what I'll do. Let's get you out of this first. What is this? Could it be? My module is in the right direction now. From this current directory, go into the modules, and then run all of this from here. And I'm in this development directory. Wait. Yes, now. It is inside of the development directory, yeah. main.tf output secrets. From it. So it's just for this thing to run now by that is wants to delay me. This is strange. My everything looks fine now. So what's up? If I see what is causing this thing now, can be expected, yeah. So what is expected there? Definition was found. VPC underscore slider block. This is it now, slider block. Other slider block. Oh, wait. That's true. Side is just cider block. This is called not VPC cider block. Okay, yeah, that's just the name now. var dot cider block, yeah. var dot. Okay. Oh, it's not putting the name of the VPC. It's supposed to be var dot. No, it's not. Okay, I think I'm the one causing all of this. So it should be this value in here. Van VPC dot header block. Right. Still not bulging.
The color code ought to be the same. The color code is not the same yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
AWS VPC dot van VPC cider block. And it's just this that is causing the wahala like this. So it's not expected. Let me see. Oh, let me just slide that block here. Let's see, BPC underscore cider block. And let's come back here. BPC cider block. BPC cider block. Public subnet. BPC ID. Like, I don't understand now. BPC underscore cider block. This is where it's pulling this variable from. You have tired me. Cider block. No, this cider block is just the one that is using in here. Yeah. And this BPC cider block is from, she's not referencing this BPC cider. I am out of what to do. So the error is quite different now, yeah? There's so many things. Undeclared resource. I'm gonna run it for a minute in HRA. Okay, so I know what I'm going to do. Just delete you. Something is really stop provider. Are you guys going to give up? Okay. Nah. Oh, this. What is this nearby? So this is taking longer. That's a good sign, I think. But still, the squiggly lines are not going. Oh, with this commented out, it's still not problem. Problem is somewhere this defined side up block. It has gone. What did I do different?
What did you do? What did you do? What did you do?
I did not do it. Shemi, we were saying you were looking at it, or did I only
It's like,
commented and uncommented it.
oh Jesus, God.
Code will want to make you look like you are not normal. Whether the Jenkins server comes up or not, I give up. Really?
Many errors.
Let me start from this. Outputs.
Reference to declare resources.
Outputs.
19.
On output.cf. AWS instance dot Jenkins public IP address. Where is this one coming from? AWS instance Jenkins, yeah. Okay, I think I see where my error is in this one. So I think I EC2 public IP. Yeah, that's what I called it now. AWS underscore instance Jenkins or public. I called EC2 public IP. EC2 public IP. So what's the difference? Oh, okay. This is supposed to be module mobile modules dot EC2 public IP address. Yeah. Next reference to undeclared variable Jenkins.cf line 20. APC, AWS, VPC, VPC.id. Security group. VPC ID should just be. Who wrote all of this? I did not vet what this guy wrote for me. I just accepted everything. Okay. Private routes table, line 2. Domain is supposed to be a string. It's supposed to be a string. All right, we're getting them one after the other. Reference module subnets.tf line 2. Line 2 say over here. Line 2 WS. So this is supposed to be I just accept everything with this guy that came in. There's no such thing as this. It's supposed to be var.vpcid. We used variables for a reason. Next, subnets line 3. Where's my arrow there? WS subnet. So this is not supposed to be called that big. This I will copilots, yeah, the one that made life hard for me today. var.vpc underscore vpc side of block. This should be the correct syntax for this. var.availability zone true. var.public subnet count is in subnet line 15. 15. This is what's VPC? Sorry guys, I know we have gone beyond our time, but this must run. So this is the same issue. I just now it's supposed to be .vpc side block. I think the arrows one after the other. Oh, damn. It's creating no blurry. Oh, it's creating no. Spent like over 30 minutes trying to figure this out. It's because Henry, you did not join me today. That was why things were hard. And because my TED talk was on trying and failing, I would have ended this class since so.
No, at least with the way it went, it made us realize like not to trust the whole of the co-pilot thing because it can give you suggestion that will end up
making you run up, looking like a mental person, like yeah. It's not interesting at all. Usually I'm always very skeptical. I always try to go over, but I think I was rushing. Usually I would have gone over whatever suggestion it gives.
I think Adford said that one of the class that whenever it's like 9:30, you start rushing everything.
Yes. Especially when we have things to cover, yeah.
Yeah.
But okay, this is, I think NAT Gateway actually takes a minute. But all in all, did you guys understand? I know there was so much back and forth here. I don't know if you guys actually understand everything, all the magic that was performing. So the goal was just to create our own set of modules now, which we did, well, our own module. And when we just group them into different files. And if you see, after we ran this created a modules directory alongside the providers directory, even though this JSON file does not, it's just stating the name of the modules and then the, oh my God. This is my purpose, but you need to accept terms and conditions, subscribe. This is the instance type now that I pulled in from the community.
That's the EMI.
Yeah.
That EMI.
What's terms and conditions? Yes. This is supposed to be a community one now. What's FOA can publish? Yeah. It should not require that I put. Yeah.
Why not try the Ubuntu one? No, Ubuntu is always like
Yeah.
open source.
That's true. AWS can.
They can like monetize those their own apps.
Can actually do be a pain in the ass, truly. So I need to initialize this again.
But one of those files that was created or the creation wasn't successful.
Which files? Those resources.
Yeah, those resources.
And so we would have created all of them. You know, is idempotent. It's only where it failed now that it will try to recreate, and it's the instance now that it will try to recreate. But for our VPC, I'm sure if we come to our VPC, we should see all of those created already. Yeah, I'm sure it's just the instance now, this Jenkins server, that it will try to recreate, hopefully. And so you see that it's telling you that all of these are fine. So it's only one that's going to add, and that is the instance. It's creating the instance. It's still volume is smaller than snapshots. Expected size. Okay. Let's just give you 30. Once for all. So many strings attached to using community AMI still. So for your custom modules, each time you actually make any change to any of the files that you have in here, you have to initialize again so that wherever you are calling it from pulls in the new latest codes that you actually those changes. Please just work, I beg. Need to accept terms and conditions to subscribe. Can I just run a script to do this? But it looks like all of this are just going to keep asking for terms and conditions. Can't deal with terms and conditions right now. Just try this last one. Could have just gotten a script that would help with this, I beg. So I think the goal here again is to get our modules and call it from our main the entry point now. If Terraform images are not cooperating, I think we can so all of them smaller. Can you believe this? 100 gig for Jenkins installation? Nah. Nah. Which one did I use now? Was it this?
No, use the AWS one.
Okay, it wasn't that. About 100 gig. Yeah. AWS. Thing is, custom script would have actually done this. I've just added a user.
Use a number 3 micro, then use AMI, run the script.
That would have actually been, but I don't know if, I know Jenkins installation also comes with its own, I don't know if I can bootstrap Jenkins installation because you need to copy some files. I'm not sure. Let's see if I can. Jenkins.
This one is taking time. Probably it will run.
As in, I'm looking away. I don't want to.
It's taking time. Probably it will run.
Hopefully, run a beg.
Run.
Complete creation complete after 20 seconds.
Ah.
Yay.
No, it has worked.
Used 5. How many AMIs? Wow. On this final, so this is initializer. Just going to wait for it to create, and then all things being equal. See if our Jenkins server is up. No. Okay, I guess this is still creating all of the plenty files now. It needs to create. Plan to hit the streets tomorrow, but this is not going to work. Come on. Balumi, are you still with us? Oh, you have slept off. I know plenty of people have dropped off. Blaze has dropped off. Why is it taking?
Why is it taking so much time to?
So Jenkins installation itself, it will install Java,
Yeah.
Jenkins, keys, and then, well, again, this is out of the box image. So Jenkins should
It's working now.
Is a public AMI, so it shouldn't even take this long. Nah, this is not going to work. It's not going to work. And I don't think I have. Let's try to use this. I don't have to. Wait. I don't think I have to. Let's see. I have to add it to it. No, I don't think so. I'm sure that my security group is added. It's here, yeah, it's there. This is another round of troubleshooting that I'm not even interested in at all. Okay, so sign into Jenkins. All right, actually worked there. Okay, I think my work here is done. So when you guys get to Jenkins, well, I think it's always better. So when you install your own Jenkins instance, I'm sure, I think the first part of the DevOps module is to install Jenkins. So all of
which of the AMI do you use now? That's not the AMI you use.
you know, AMI changes well, so by the time you want to use this tomorrow, it probably will not work. So I'm not going to rely on keeping AMIs.
I know. Let's go to the where you got it from, that marketplace.
Oh, okay.
The development
I think
you use there, yeah.
I've left there.
Oh, okay.
I've left there, but it was a Debian one.
You can get it from if you watch the video again, huh?
Yes, again, yes, that's true. That's true. So guys, it has been a ride. Thank you very much for letting me guide you through this session. These 2
Now,
months. Yeah.
how can we keep in
I'm
touch?
moving you.
In LinkedIn, we can. Let me see.
Yes, so I'm available LinkedIn, Discord. You know, if you reach out,
What's your name on LinkedIn?
it's Moyo Soribaye.
Sorry.
Yeah, so yeah. But it's been a ride. Sure, I'll be hearing good news about what you guys are doing out there. I can't overemphasize, you know, practicing. Yeah, it doesn't get any easier than, you know, when you practice. And even if I tell you I actually ran this before, you know, this session, you probably would think, yeah, no, so how come it didn't work the first time? Yeah. So yeah, things will definitely try to, you know, dissuade you from from continuing. But yeah, it's gotta keep going. Yeah. Have a great week and happy new month in advance.
All right, boss. Thanks.